We've all been there, haven't we? Gone about perfectly fine in our daily lives while feeling something has been amiss. Eat, sleep, work, repeat. That's it. That's it. And what is it that's missing anyway? And then one day, a movie or a TV series, playing on a date night or at a cafe makes the sharp tap. A woman struggling with her life in a big city. A widowed father doing his best to single-handedly raise his troubled teenage daughters. A twin brother supporting his sibling through rehab. We get enmeshed in their celluloid lives. They are distant from our realities, perhaps fictional, but all too relatable. So here at the Mind's Journal, we will walk you through the landmark works in pop culture that have mirrored our own mental health struggles, as well as inspired a positive, destigmatizing conversation around mental health. Here are 5 mental health disorders and their significant portrayals in pop culture. Number 1. Depression. Okay, we admit it. This dreaded word gets carelessly thrown around a lot. But do you know that 53.2 million people around the world suffer from depressive symptoms that leave them sad, hopeless, and exhausted? Depression also causes emotional instability and memory problems, effectively disrupting our lives, personally and professionally. Maybe that's why you won't be able to shoo away your indifference when you see Robin Williams' character revive his lost art of writing into a poetic suicide note to account for his son's overdose in World's Greatest Dad, or in Cake, which sees Jennifer Aniston's Claire Bennett confess to her therapist, "I have to get something off my chest," after her child's demise. Even as the closing scene of Christina Ricci's Prozac Nation rolls on, we cannot help but feel the helplessness of her character Elizabeth Lizzie Wurtzel as she falls apart in a big city. It serves as an uncomfortable reminder of how the hollowness of depression can eat at you alive, no matter how organized, perfect, or in control you may seem on the outside. Number 2. Addictions. A favorite of filmmakers and addicts themselves is substance abuse, with over 53 million people addicted to drugs worldwide. It's no wonder that addiction has made its way to the big screen. As early as the 1930s, addiction was portrayed in Reefer Madness. Over the years, it has gained momentum but has also fallen prey to inaccurate depictions. But some films do get it right. The Oscar-winning A Star is Born makes use of Bradley Cooper's fading rock star to hit the right notes on drug addiction. Darren Aronofsky's 2000 masterpiece, A Requiem for a Dream, traces the lives of 4 coming-of-age people who see their lives shattered by substance abuse. More recently, Kate Winslet, Mayor of Easttown, Mike Flanagan's The Haunting of Hill House, and Timothée Chalamet's Beautiful Boy poignantly gaze at the personal and social ravages of addiction, serving as bittersweet love letters to addicts and their social circles. These works successfully highlight how the consequences of drug indulgence spill beyond the present and at times beyond the grave. Number 3. Eating disorders. Next up is eating disorders. Religious viewers of The Crown will remember the disclaimer before the Diana episodes. When the actual horror of the iconic royals' battle with bulimia behind palace walls was translated on screen, we couldn't help but sympathize. Be it Emma Corrin's Diana or Kristen Stewart's in Spencer, pitifully spilling her guts out and bejeweled couture into a toilet, we relived her trauma and pain. But somewhere we're also thankful that the Princess of Wales decided to sneak her story out in public awareness. It raised concerns at a time when this illness unaccountably cost many people their mental health and lives. Since the 1990s, filmmakers have ventured into the sorry realities of eating disorders and the adolescent population. Winona Ryder's Girl Interrupted and Heathers explored eating disorders in high school girls. Lily Collins' character in To the Bone laid bare the chilling anorexic experience. Both the 1990s gem Perfect Body and For the Love of Nancy loudly rebelled against the toxic relationship between eating disorders and the body image issues in showbiz. Recently, Brendan Fraser's The Whale followed in the footsteps of Johnny Depp's What's Eating Gilbert Grape to lay bare the health damages of binge eating and obesity. Number 4. Grief. Post the release of Marvel's WandaVision, social media exploded with the quote, "But what is grief if not love persevering?" The series was applauded for its realistic depiction of grief and coping with the loss of a loved one. Marvel followed up with Doctor Strange in The Multiverse of Madness, untangling the silent and numbing devastations that follow death. Thankfully, it's not the only one. Grief is one of the most popular themes in pop culture, from The Vampire's Diaries to P.S. I Love You, Ghost, and Pieces of a Woman. Popular movies have explored the psychological pain linked to death. As the characters navigate through guilt, denial, and confusion, we, as the audience, are reminded of the complexities of grief and love. Maybe we ask ourselves, what are we grieving? Are we grieving a person or a reality? Are we grieving a feeling or a time? In a way, these works provide comforting philosophies about the ultimate end, but not before we are made aware that there is no proper way of grieving, and that we should grieve in a way that brings us solace. Number 5. Suicide. And saving the most horrific but the least talked about for the last, suicide. Netflix's 13 Reasons Why shook the world when it was released in 2017. Its vivid depiction of the suicide of its teen protagonist, Hannah Baker, ruffled many feathers and the series nearly faced a ban. But it did fuel a more involved conversation around self-harm and suicide, especially among children and teenagers. Even then, the central theme in Netflix's series had a long legacy. Perhaps the audience was jolted the same way when they viewed the fictional depiction of Sylvia Plath's end in Sylvia back in 2003, or when Virginia Woolf's consensual drowning in England's River Ouse played out in The Hours. The sensitivity of suicide has a wide berth, and so do its cinematic depictions. Films like Kat Dennings' To Write Love on Her Arms, Harold and Maude, the cult classic Dead Poets Society, and Don't Worry Darling have time and again highlighted the moral dilemma of suicide, specifically why the act of suicide in itself is so controversial religiously and culturally. Movies have a unique ability to captivate and inspire us. Through the power of pop culture, we find role models in people like us, individuals who struggle with mental health challenges and work to overcome them. These characters can inspire us, empower us, and raise our awareness of the difficulties that we and those around us may face. By witnessing these characters' journey, we are encouraged to seek treatment. They remind us that we are not alone in our struggles and that there is hope for improvement. Those role models, even from a distance, provide a comforting pat on the back, assuring us that we are capable of overcoming our challenges. They remind us that the phrase, "this too shall pass," applies not only to the challenges we face, but also to the healing and growth that can come from them. Ultimately, these characters serve as a reminder that mental health challenges are a common human experience. By seeing them depicted on the big screen, we're encouraged to be more open and accepting of our own struggles and those of others. We are reminded that we all have the power to overcome our challenges and lead fulfilling lives, no matter what difficulties we may face. Want to know more about mental health? Visit us at themindsjournal.com right now.